Hi, I'm Bruce Mazzie, and welcome to This Old Car. Hi, I'm Bruce Mazzie, and welcome to This Old Car. We're here at Hershey, Pennsylvania today at the annual meet of the Antique Automobile Club of America, and I've brought my 34 Ford here to be judged for a junior award. The process is that you get judged for a junior award before getting a senior. At the junior award, they give you the things that you need to fix, and then you come back maybe 6 months later for a senior award. While I don't want to get into a conflict of interest, I would like to introduce you to a judge, and we'll ask him some questions of a general nature. And then we're going to go on over and check on John Krupinski and see how he did with his '57 Chevy convertible. Folks, this is Walter Heckman from Nashville, Tennessee. And he's from the local chapter of the AACA down there, and he's agreed to answer a few questions in general about judging these cars. Walter, can you tell us what in general you're looking for, and then some of the specific things you find?
Well, the basic idea of judging a car on the AACA judging field is against the car as it would have looked when it left the assembly line.
I see.
That is what the judges look for. Anything that's added that's not an authentic feature of the particular car is a deductible item.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, most cars that you see at Hershey, Hershey being the mecca, you might say, of the old car hobby, most of these cars are amazingly restored.
They sure are.
And beautiful automobiles.
Mm-hmm. How many cars do you have to judge in one day like this? I know my legs and my feet hurt.
Well, the thing about the judging is divided among teams, and each team has the responsibility of certain classes. The class I judged this morning happened to be the early V8s, the 28A, which is the class we're standing in front of, and 28B right behind it, the 35 Fords. And it's a hobby, beautiful hobby, interesting hobby. Meet a lot of nice people, and it's a lot of fun. That's for sure. We're all here maintaining motor history, and Walter, I want to thank you for agreeing to say a few words, folks. Well, and no problem. And I'm glad you stopped me. Thanks again. Let's go over and have a look at how John Krupinski's doing now. Hi, John. Nice to see you.
Hi, Bruce.
I see you here with your '57 Chevy.
Now for my senior.
Yeah, for your senior award. And when did you get the junior?
In the spring down at Winchester, Virginia.
Winchester.
First junior, then you go for the senior.
How do you think you make out?
I should do okay. It's, you know, it gets a little closer when you go for senior. They have a closer point spread. So you really don't know until after the banquet when they pass them out. There's a lot of them here, but there's only supposed to be 3 cars going for the senior. The rest of them either going for juniors, first juniors, or preservation.
The car looks magnificent. Really looks magnificent. Really nice job. You know, this is the second one you did too, right?
Third.
Third Chevy?
Yeah.
Nice. Popular car. What do you think this car is worth?
If you go by Scottsdale auction last year, they were bringing anywhere from $65,000, $75,000. But you have to find somebody to pay that.
What did they sell for new?
About $3,000.
Man, it's a nice car. V8. How many horsepower does this thing have?
It's around 185 horsepower. It's a 2-barrel carburetor, single exhaust, power steering,
nice.
Power brakes. Has, you know, some accessories on it, fender skirts, rubber bullets. These are actual accessories also.
Why don't you tell us what you had to do here, John?
Well, this car was actually every nut and bolt was taken off the frame, a lot of floor work. Every piece of rubber's new, all the chrome's been redone or reproduction parts. The dash was completely disassembled. Everything was out, steering column. All the interior, the springs, I even sandblasted the springs before we put the new upholstery on, new padding. It's down that far. You can take the door panels off. The latches, everything inside has been sandblasted and sprayed with stainless steel paint. The top bows we're taking apart. All the bolts, the proper bolts that had to be re-chromed were re-chromed. All the glass is brand new. There's nothing that, brand new. Side glass, windshield glass, everything. Everything was apart. Took 9 months of straight, continuous work to do it.
Well, hope you get your 75,000, I'll tell you that. I saw Buzzy Potter over there, by the way, and they're going to be out to see you this week. Want to know how you're doing on the 35. And we're going to try and make it over there, too, have a peek.
Yeah, when I get back, I've been working on the crown that we talked about before and took pictures. But I'm going to put his windshield. He brought the windshield back with new glass in it. I'm going to put that on so I can put the top bows on and get everything ready to do the varnishing on the wood bows. But we're still waiting for his engine to come back.
Well, we're going to come over, have a look at the crown and the 35, see how you're coming along on both. We'll look forward to seeing you maybe next week.
Okay.
Let's go back in time and see what John's plans were for the restoration of that 1955 Crown Victoria.
This is a 55 Ford Crown Victoria. It's one of mine, which will be my next project. I will disassemble this car. It will come apart, every nut and bolt off the frame. This one will be done on a rotisserie. That's the rotisserie in the back, which I can roll the body over, I can roll the frame over. This will be done actually for show when it's finished. It takes about 8 to 12 months to do a car like this.
We'll be back with more of This Old Car.
We've come back from Hershey, Pennsylvania, after having attended the Antique Automobile Club of America show. We're back here in Maryland at John Krupinski's shop to have a look at the 1955 Ford Crown Victoria and see how he's coming along. Let's have a look. Hi, John. We're here to catch up on the project today, see how you're making out with this 55 Crown. What are you doing today?
Just about finishing up the patch panels here. Since you were here the last time, I replaced all this. I'm just checking the fit on the skirt. I have the rubber just taped on so you can get the correct gap before
right.
you paint it and so forth. I had to put the brackets on. I had to replace all this, the inner fender, outer fender. So it does fit pretty well. And
while we're here, I'll give you a hand putting this door on.
yeah,
too.
okay. I want to get that on so I have to do the rocker panel. And see, it's made to fit now.
Great. Both sides done?
Both sides are done. I've done some patches on the back work. I want to get this all done before I take the body off the frame. So when you were here before, it still had the paint. I took off 4 coats of paint. It's been sandblasted all the edges, primed. What I will do now, once this is all done, I will sandblast all this again, all the welds before I prime it, so it's good and clean. You want to get a good clean coat of primer on it. So I want to work on the rockers next, but we have to put the door on so I can get the right gap once I cut it out. I want to make sure it'll fit when it's finished.
How did you make out at Hershey with the Chevy?
I got my senior award there.
Congratulations,
so
great.
It's shown now and won everything. So.
Yeah, I didn't make it. I have to go back, clean up the engine compartment, go back. So I took my car apart. Maybe we'll go over and film a little of that too.
Yeah, competition's tough up there. It's got to be exactly right.
Okay. Want to get this door on first?
Okay, well, let's work on that. Let
me give you a hand.
Let me get this here ratchet here.
Okay, here we go. Is that your knee doing that?
Yeah, I'm holding it with my knee.
We've got to get this door on so that he can measure for the rocker panel, because the rocker panel needs to be replaced. Which hole are you going to try to get on there? That one there? Okay.
See, you're not. Screwdrivers, drop the bottom down a little bit. A little bit more.
More? What we're doing here is John's going to fit the door and make sure the seams are correct when the door closes, so that the rocker panel on the bottom can be measured and fitted properly. It needs to be, the old rocker panel is rusty, the new one needs to be installed. Here we go. Okay, line that hole up. You get one more in there.
Yeah, gotta get that.
So all your cars now are qualified with AACA Senior.
Right, we gotta shoot for next spring for this one now.
Well, I'm going to take another crack at it. I'll get the thing straight and get it back up there. When's the next official event?
May.
May?
Next season.
That's Connecticut, right?
No, that's the VA club. The next AACA will be in Johnstown in May. Johnstown, Pennsylvania is the closest one.
Just think, in today's automotive industry, a robot does all this, puts cars together. And Ford has, I understand that Ford has reduced the man hours to assemble a car from 25 to 1.5.
This is just
I don't know if that's true or not, but are you in there?
get them all started first.
The bottom tight, right?
Yeah, one's tight.
Okay, we're going to come out. I got it. Go ahead.
That's some more. Gotta go enough to get.
Yeah, now let's see what we got. Good. The seam here is perfect. It's the same all the way down. So, and we're up to this lip here.
We'll be back with more of This Old Car.
Not bad.
That's what I want, so when I replace the rocker, I can have, get the correct gap. So
Same
you can see
distance.
here where somebody had drilled holes with filler in, it hit right here. So make that both the same there.
Well, you want to tighten those up and then fit the rocker panel? Good.
The seam, why we put the door on, is to get the seam completely, even all the way down, and then from left to right, because I'm going to be replacing this rocker panel, so I want to have the door on, so when it's replaced, you'll have the correct gap. So it gives you something to work with. Without that, you might never fit together correctly. So we have the door here, all even.
And the door goes on first before
Right.
before the fender.
And it'll come back off for the final assembly. You put that on, you work from the door gap right here to the whole front end and hood and everything.
Want to go ahead and cut that off?
I'm going to start chiseling this rocker panel out. I've got to take all this metal out to be replaced.
Look at all that crud in there. "45 years of dirt and rust, huh?"
There's your piece that needs replaced.
This is the new rocker panel. It's going to be welded on there. You can see the folds in it. It'll go right around on the bottom this way. John will take this end and roll it around, put a lip on this, and then cut this one at an angle like this, so it fills in that entire space. Weld it up and be just like new.
Going to have to patch where it's bad. Here I'll sandblast all that, get all the rust off before you use it. Then you got to straighten it up. You got to clean it all up so it welds.
Can't weld rust.
Nope, it's got to be clean.
Now you're going to cut this piece.
You want to cut that
like this, huh?
So I got to make that all fit.
I got this thing.
That's the factory sealer, which is basically tar.
A little gum there.
Take something sandblasting.
Yeah, you want to roll it out? You can sandblast some of this stuff. I don't know.
I'll have to do this.
All right, let's roll it out. Okay, Mr. John.
It's much easier to work in a clean environment.
It'll keep us for a few minutes. Now, my father used to say, "A place for everything and everything in its place." Okay.
We still have a gap, so nothing moves.
Good. Okay, what we're going to do now is roll it outside and sandblast some of those spots so that they're prepared for welding. Ready? You got to be sure not to kill the cameraman or run into my wife's car.
We'll be back with more of This Old Car.
Before beginning the sandblasting, John will put on a protective hood with a lens so he can see what he's doing, and a hood to protect him from breathing in the sand being pushed through the nozzle by air pressure. It just so happens that sand and silica is very toxic. Here what you'll see John doing is sandblasting the metal to remove all the remaining paint, rust, and undercoating. Fine sand is being blown through a gun with compressed air. As it hits the metal surface, with the force of the air pressure, the sand beats the surface and cleans it just as if you were cleaning it with a piece of sandpaper. The air pressure takes the place of the human arm or the electric sander and makes for a speedier process. There are a variety of mediums used in sandblasting, each designed for a specific purpose. For example, glass beads are used to polish metal and aluminum, and metal filings are used to remove heavy rust. In this application, John is using fine sand like that which is glued onto a piece of fine sandpaper. Once the sandblasting is done, the metal will be primed with epoxy primer to protect the metal from further rusting. Later, filler will be applied to fill and finish any various defects, and then the sanding primer will be added and sanded in several coats until ready for finished painting. Back inside. Well, that's it for today. For This Old Car, I'm Bruce Mazzie.
Thanks for watching This Old Car. Bruce will be back next week with more great classic cars, fact-filled interviews, and restoration tips. Until next week, I'm Chuck Baker for This Old Car.